Hey everyone, welcome back to 3D6 Down the Line. It has been a minute. We are the most criminally underwatched actual play series on the internet, and we are running through our Megadungeon crawl of the Halls of Arden Vul. This is episode 73 of this Megadungeon crawl. Halls of Arden Vul is by Richard Barton, and we are using the old school essential system by Necrotic Gnome. My name is John. I am your referee for the evening. We have two players for you tonight, and they are...
Good evening. This evening, I, Mike Morrison, will be playing Brother Lothar, the cleric of Odin, and also I'll be playing Niall, a retainer, which I have not done this entire game.
Hopefully we'll be treated to that beautiful Southern accent you have, and it'll make it all worth it. Everyone, I'm Matt. Tonight I'll be playing Wulfheard Cheek. God damn it, leave me alone. I just want to nap and retire. And Lisbeth, who does not understand what all these guys are doing and why they're still alive.
Right on. So, yeah, we have another dynamic duo episode. This will be more common as we go through the summer. We always have a lot of obligations with family and vacations and whatnot during summertime, which is the reason why we don't have Ted and David with us. They are both dead to us tonight. All right, but with two players, that means we get lots of shit done, which is the upside. So... let's recap where we are. It's been, of course, if you're watching this years in the future, it doesn't really matter. It's just episode 73, episode 72. But we have had about a 2-week break. Recently, let me see, check my notes here. It is the 8th of Gelenios. It is 5 o'clock p.m. They have just recently actually crossed over the chasm after putting to rest Prior Jacobus's ghost and observing at least a lot of his wondrous treasure and taking the choicest bits already. But thanks to Upior's ropecraft, they have managed to actually cross over the chasm to a mysterious platform on the other side that had some very, very old adventuring gear in the form of some coiled rope that looks like it's probably not too reliable, and some iron spikes and things like that. And in the process of crossing over, they were actually attacked by 4 giant spiders that came up from the western corridor leading back from the back of that platform. Titus, the half-elf that Ted was playing last session, whipped out his newly acquired Wand of Lightning and crisped them big time, but not before Wulfheard Cheek took a deathly a bite of poison that was going to kill him real quick. Thankfully, Elizabeth had a clutch spell memorized, protection from poison, and managed to neutralize that. And so Wulfheard is hurt, but okay.
He is fine. He's down to his favorite hit point.
The first one. Yay. The most important one. So that's kind of where we're at. It's pretty simple. They are on this small platform. The platform is about 10 feet wide. The entire northeastern side of it is basically open to the chasm. There are ropes that have been newly strung, once again by Upior, that lead all the way back to the double open doors that lead back to Prior Jacobus's tomb, where you have a ton of treasure that has been unclaimed that you have to kind of figure out with encumbrance-wise, because it's a lot.
And we're claiming that treasure, John. We're going back for that treasure. We're not doing the gladiator school again.
Yeah. Well, the one big piece of the treasure that's still a bit of a mystery is the fact that you have that chest there. That chest is very difficult and heavy to lift, unless you're Upior, who has a girdle of giant strength. And you know that there are coins in there because you heard them jingle, but you have yet to get a count of what's in there.
There are at least 2.
But there's like 12 potions.
Yeah,
it's like an insane amount. There's cleric scrolls. You know, there was a mace. There's a wand of lightning. You know, there's the girdle in the secret compartment, right? A ring that you don't know what it does, and so.
Well, thank God we gave the girdle of giant strength to the wizard. That's all. That's
the strong wizard too.
Strong wizard.
Now he can cast, throw big rocks whenever he wants.
Yes. So unfortunately, the way that we kind of rule this is that whoever's not here, all of their PCs and all the gear that they're carrying also sort of disappear into the ether until they return. So that is correct. You do not have access to the girdle this session, I'm afraid. So it's just the 4 of you, including the 2 retainers. Can I just get a recap real quick of what Lothar's and Lisbeth's memorized spells are now that some have been cast?
Lothar has light, cure light wounds, silence 15 feet, and hold person.
Okay, great.
Okay. And Lisbeth has our 2 level 1s, invisibility to animals, locate plant or animal. She has for her level 2 a cure light wounds and obscuring mist. Her level 3 spell she used last session, protection from poison, and her level 4 is a dispel magic.
Oh, okay. Man, she's doing level 4s already. That's crazy.
She's a big kid now.
Yep. All right. So light situation. I have written down. So it's 5 p.m. I have written down torch at the end of 6 turns here. So someone lit a torch.
Yeah.
I
So
don't have written.
When Wulfheard got to that across, he put the torch that he was carrying in one of the sconces.
Okay.
And when the spiders started coming, he threw his newly lit torch down that western hallway.
Okay.
So that should be just seconds old because he just tossed that.
Did I roll?
So
did we do the one? Did we do the
Sorry.
1 in 6 chance of it going out for the throw? I can't remember.
Yeah, I feel like you might have.
Okay, we'll just say you have it. Okay, yeah. So we'll say that both of those torches will run out at the same time. Okay. I do have a mark for Upior's lantern, which is much further ahead, but Upior's not here, so that lantern is moot. So you will need, a source of light. You're confined with the torch right now.
Yeah, we have the torch that's down in the hallway. He'd run and pick that up. Wulfheard does have a lantern, just that he hasn't used yet. Just no more oil. So I don't know what you have. What Lothar has.
I only have torches, but I also have a light spell if we need it.
Okay. So Wulfheard, do you want to hold the torch?
Sure, no problem. I've got this.
Do you use a shield though, Matt? Are you using a weapon and a shield?
No. I don't need one of those. Those are garbage.
Okay, because I took that one-handed. I took that one-handed mace, the one with the teeth in it, from the treasure hoard, and I don't have a shield, so I could actively carry a torch as well. You know what I'm saying?
Do you want a shield?
I mean, I don't even know what shields do anymore. It's in the ether, man. They do something, but we're not really sure. Dude.
It basically allows you to declare, if you don't have one, you can't declare a block. If you have one, you can declare a block. It's basically the way that works.
Okay. Yeah, I'll take a shield then, Matt, if you have one that is available to go. And then John, I'm going to set down my big 2-handed flail, which I do love. Don't get mad at me, but I'm going to set it down because it's 2 slots. And I'm just going to leave it here for now.
Okay.
To free up some space.
Okay.
Mike,
go ahead.
Real quick, just so you know, the shield that he's giving you is marked up with some dwarven runes that we copied off of one of the pillars.
Yep, I remember that.
Right in the trash room that was way over to the west, over by the barricade.
If we ever get them back to Breggy, you can tell us what they mean.
There you go. But just so you know, I'll mark that off. You can have that shield.
So I'm rolling at a 90 right now, Matt. Just so you know.
Wulfheard's at 120.
Okay.
Are the retainers at 90? Or is anyone slower than 90 is what I'm at?
Nobody's slower than 90.
Yeah, okay. And y'all's at 90 as well. Right.
Okay.
Wulfheard's at 120.
All right. So you're moving at 90. You have if you don't go back across the ropes, you have 2 directions. You can go directly westward. Both of these are basically from the back end of the platform. So like the southern end of the platform. One goes directly west. That is where the spiders came from, out of the darkness. Around the corner is where you first spotted them. And then there is also south.
Can I ask a question really quick while we're on that platform? I would like to take a look at the rope. You said that the rope was of dubious nature, utility or something like that at the beginning of the episode. So
the old stuff,
yeah. Like how old is it? Like how strong is it? Is it the kind of thing where it's just trash at this point?
It's not trash, but being experienced adventurers, I don't think you could give it an age, but you could definitely tell like the strength of rope. There are 3 coils. Each of them is 50 feet. They are coiled up, but they're old enough that they you would think that there's a decent chance that they would break. They're not completely trash, but there's like basically a certain amount in 6 chance of the breakage.
Our trustworthiness in using them to hold our own weight is low.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not worth trying to replenish our rope, which is now strung across the chasm. All right, got
Probably
it. No
not
problem.
a good idea. It'd probably be better to like test it with some non-living thing. You know what I mean? Like if you're hoisting something, maybe.
Yeah.
It'd probably be
Sure.
Well, I mean, Wulfheard's close to that, so we could try it with him.
Can
There's
we,
also 20 spikes that
Yeah.
are new, like that are there on that. Not new, but I mean they're not yours. That are there on the ground as well.
well, then
It's-
I'm
I
gonna
think-
go ahead and have Niall take those for sure.
Okay, so that's like a
our-
bundle thing. I can't remember how many slots and how many
think-
things.
I think it's like
6-ish?
12 spikes in a bundle. I think.
12-ish. I think I actually have that open. Spikes, iron spikes.
But yeah, the spikes
12.
spikes would be good.
Yeah. So let's call it an even. Let's call it an even 24, and so it'll
Okay,
be
so
two slots worth. Yeah.
Got it.
And Wulfheard will take, he'll take 2 of those old ropes, but I'll mark them as old ropes. He has a good rope that's unused as well. We can drop those if we need them, just in case we.
Yeah.
Do
and
you
they're
want one
slot
of the
each.
bundles of spikes?
Sure,
Okay.
I'll take a bundle of
So
spikes.
then,
I'll take
Niall
one old
takes-
rope and one bundle of spikes.
All right. Niall takes one, and Wulfheard takes the other, right?
Yeah, and he's still at 120 with that, so we're pretty good. So
And then
one thing.
go ahead.
I was going to say just one thing before we head out, either west or south. If we hold out, and that torch is in the thing, everybody made it across, so now we can have some more attention. I'd like to look from that platform to the north and just see if there's anything at all that we can see. Like I see that the cliff wall kind of trails off after about 10 feet, but we
Yeah.
should be able to see up to about 30, so a little bit more, right?
Yeah. So so if you peer, if you kind of lean out and kind of put your torch in your left hand and sort of reach that torch out to the left, right? So you're kind of facing northwest. At the very edge of your torchlight, you can indeed see that there appears to be another platform that's on this side of the chasm, right at the edge of that. So like 35 feet away or so.
20, 30. Does that seem about right where I got it there, John?
Around there, yeah. But you
Ish.
can, I mean, what you're making out is that there's like an inset there, right? And you can see like flat paving, like flat stone, like you're standing on right now. And that's like the
Okay.
only giveaway. Like you can make out nothing.
So it doesn't like jut out?
It doesn't jut out. In fact, the way
Okay.
that Ted drew it here is actually a little bit inaccurate in the fact that your platform also doesn't actually jut out into the chasm. It's like it's like right on the chasm
It's
edge.
like edge. Okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's the same thing that you're seeing about 35 feet north up the chasm, but you can make out no details.
While he's doing that, though, John, I wanted to look at the iron sconces that are on our platform.
Mhm.
I want to see if any of them turn or pull or anything like that. If they maybe like open up a cool bridge all the way across the chasm or something like
Sure,
awesome
yeah.
like that.
That's a turn, though. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, so you take your time looking at the sconces. They seem to be perfectly normal.
Okay.
They do appear to be, since you get a real good look at them, that they are not of ancient Arcantian make. They look like they were installed after the platform was built, perhaps by adventurers. Yeah.
Okay. And
That's a
nothing
weird place to do
interesting
that.
above or directly below us in that same 30 foot from the light?
No, I mean, other than the chasm itself being pretty
I mean,
interesting.
just continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're looking at, if you're kind of judging the chasm wall, like as far as the ability to sort of maybe not strafe, what's the word? Is it a climbing term for going
When
sideways?
you go along the edge. Yeah.
There are numerous handholds because it's the chasm wall, so it's very, very rough. But obviously, if you slip, it's death.
Fuck.
Yeah. But there's plenty of places to do what you did like many, many moons ago on the other side of the chasm where you could spike in, rope, the whole thing.
Uh-huh.
Got it.
Mike, do we want to keep going south and west, or do we want to, if we tied that rope to
No, I'm
Wulfheard,
sorry.
you could, no?
No.
Okay.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yeah.
It's a
That's pretty
tasty
good
platform. It's kind of
I'm not even
secret.
sure how much rope we have left, to be honest with you, man, because we used a lot of it to cross the chasm.
Oh, Wulfheard still has a 50-foot length of like
Right.
good quality,
Lothar also
explorer's
has
rope.
a 50-foot quality rope. I don't know, man.
We got nice open hallways. Let's check these out and make
Yeah,
sure. And we can
let's
just,
stay on target. Let's stay on the plan.
Okay.
Okay, so do you
All
want
right.
to go to the west where the spiders came from, or directly south, which is a complete mystery?
Oh, I definitely want to go where the spiders came from.
Yeah. I mean, we don't hear any further like
You do not.
down that
No.
way, do we?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so you head westward. The passageway is basically just the way that Ted drew it. It actually I should say that corridor goes for 10 feet, then turns a corner. Yeah, he sort of did it, although that corner is basically 10 feet, not 5 feet like he drew it. And it opens up into a 10-foot wide corridor, but that corridor heading south is actually a staircase that goes way down.
Oh,
Yeah, and
Interesting.
let me just get it real. Yeah, it goes down, down, down into the darkness. The stairs are made out of granite blocks, and they are littered with dust and stone chips. And you can see that there is definitely like a path through that dust of little pinpoints of where like the spiders
the
were
spider
clacking.
footprints?
Yeah, and then there's like a big dragging thing in the center, like where their thick thoraxes were sort of dragging against the ground.
gross.
Yeah.
Is there any
Or
webbing in the
abdomens.
hallway?
Any what?
Any webbing?
No, not where you see. No, actually, there's none in this visible, the 30 feet that you can see.
Okay.
And it goes down at least as far as we can see with the torch.
Yeah, it's like a level difference. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like, yeah, like you would have to go to another.
Oh wow! Do we
I
want?
would
do we
love to
wanna
go to the other hallway then to try and connect up.
back up. Okay.
Okay, so seeing that that goes deep and dark, deeply and darkly down, you bypass that and come back, and you go down the hallway. So the hallway goes down for 30 feet, and then after 30 feet, it actually rounds a corner to the west. Actually, you know what? I'm wrong. I'm totally wrong. I'm looking at the wrong thing. It actually goes down for 40 feet, and it just ends. Like there's no door, there's nothing.
Huh.
Okay. All right.
That's
Well,
that's
we're gonna
unusual.
spend a little time looking for secret doors here.
Yeah,
I will take the southernmost wall, John, and then y'all will take the easternmost wall. And then I don't know, Matt, if you want to have one of your folks check that western wall.
Yeah, I mean, I think just given the architecture and layout of it, I think somewhere going west is going to be likely. So, yeah, if we
Sure.
could take like that last 30 feet and divide it up between like Njal and Lisbeth, or at least Wulfheard and Elizabeth going 20. You can check the end, and then we can do like an eastern one. But yeah, I don't know. Well, east it might go over to the toilet room.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
okay. So what are you sort of looking for?
So I'm going to take the torch and I'm going to waft it in front of the wall to see if it flickers anywhere, like there's a seam or a crack. And then I'm going to brush the detritus away from the floor to see if I can see anything that slides or moves or anything like that. And then I'm going to kind of run my fingers through the cracks of the mortar to see if I find any catches.
Okay, so that's actually really good, Lothar. Whenever you do actually sort of feel on the stone for seams rather than just like the mortar, you do in fact pretty ingeniously hid. There is, as you kind of you see one where you think it's actually sort of maybe it's just chipped or decayed mortar, but it actually ends up being a seam. And when you sort of run your fingers along it, more chipped mortar sort of like easily falls out until you sort of follow it, and it follows the dimensions of a normal door,
Ooh.
like a door size on the western wall, right at the end on the west.
West wall.
And
So it's down like here.
Right there. That's correct. Yeah.
whoops.
No, I should be showing folks what's going on. There we go.
There we go.
Okay. And did that include a catch, John?
No catch. So it just seems to be the outline of a stone door.
Okay. Well,
Can we try like pushing it? I'm assuming just pushing doesn't do anything.
So when you push it, Wulfheard, indeed it does. It sort of it pushes inward a little bit, and then it hinges outwards, like it pushes out and open, and it reveals on the other side a 10-foot wide corridor. So it opens up, like you've been sort of squashing this 5-foot one, that goes westward, directly westward, or Arcantian stonework, and it goes for 30 feet before disappearing in darkness from your torchlight. The passageway itself is rough, undecorated stone, so it doesn't look like this was meant for impressing anybody.
Okay.
It's only about 6 feet tall, which is much shorter than the normal passageways that you've seen in Arcantia, which are usually 10 to 12 feet tall. And it's extremely dusty. In fact, you sort of cough when you open the door up.
Okay. And nothing, you said no decorations at all on the wall, no murals. So it's worked stone here, but we don't see any decoration at all.
You don't see any decoration at all, yeah.
Okay.
The secret door, John, is it easily closable from the hallway that we have moved into that western hallway?
You haven't moved in yet, so you're not really sure. But it opened up. It opened up pretty easily.
Yeah. Let's spike that bad boy open so that we don't get trapped.
No. We want to see if we can close it and if there's a mechanism for opening it on the other side. We don't want anything coming up behind us, like more spiders or anything like that, and cutting off our retreat.
All right. Well, I just want to make sure if we need to get back out this way, it's not another one-way door like the other guys
No,
found.
I understand that. That's why I want to see if I can figure out a mechanism on this side of the door. And if we're worried about that, then Matt, then me and y'all will go through the door and play with it on our side.
Okay.
While you guys stay on this side of the secret door to open it up again if we need it.
If you can't. Okay. And
okay.
Yeah, there's nothing to start. Okay, yeah, good.
All right, so
I guess while he's doing that, John, we'll have somebody, Elizabeth, I guess, look on that western wall, like in the middle, just to see if there's another secret thing. I don't think there is, but
okay. Yeah. Who's going through the door first, Lothar or y'all?
Well, I will go first, John. But before I go through, I want to kind of give you said that the floor was extremely dusty. Mm-hmm. So I want to just kind of like take my mace and extend my arm and kind of like move it across the floor. And I want to see if I see any holes in the floor or holes in the walls or holes in the ceiling.
Okay. Lothar, when you're standing on your side of the secret door, like the eastern side.
Right. And
you lower down, you sort of use, this is your new special mace?
The new mace, yeah.
Yeah. This is like a nasty looking mace, by the way. It's like the flanges are teeth. Yeah.
Like actual human teeth?
I think they're shaped like teeth. I don't think they're actually teeth. I believe I'd have to look it up.
Okay, that was gross.
Yeah, they and you're moving around the dust on the floor. The pressure of your mace on the floor causes that 10-foot by 10-foot section right beyond the secret door to open up. And the entire corridor, like that entire section just opens up into a trap, into a pit trap. Nicely done. I was waiting for you to just step through there. That was all you.
Hey,
like
kid,
I didn't tell
your 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
No, but you know what though, and we'll talk about it more during the detox. There were so many traps in that area that we're heading towards that I was extremely paranoid about that. All right,
nice.
Shining the torch down into the hole. Is there anything in it?
Okay, so when the pit opens up, the dust falls in, and so there's like a huge like cloud, like of dust, and so when you shine your torch in, it's completely diffused by all of the dust, so it's very hard to see, but eventually it does clear up. And what's a little bit scary when you realize how close you were to actually meeting your doom is that your torchlight barely reaches the bottom. It's like a 30-foot deep trap. It's like way down, and down there indeed you do see that there's an accumulated amount of junk down there, and some of that junk are actually the corpses of what are definitely adventurers who have fallen victim to this, just like you were about to. There's probably about, I'd say, like 3 or 4 corpses down there, and there is a number of weapons. Some of them look normal, some of them look very well made. There is actually, there's like way more corpses. There's like a dozen corpses down here because there's a lot. There's like armor, metal and leather armor down there. There's a shield that looks really, really nice. It's kind of turned over, so you're not really sure what the blazon is on it. And there's various purses and backpacks and storage things that are in various stages of rotting, and some of those have actually spilled out their contents. And there's a sizable amount of coins that you see glinting in the torchlight. A couple of vials as well.
Oh, cool. Are there spikes down there, or is it just like these
Nope.
people fell to their doom?
Gravity did the job.
All right. So I have a proposal, Mike.
Sure.
Let's do two things. Let's let Elizabeth drop a heal on Wulfheard, because one of the things that we discovered in these 2 weeks is that Wulfheard and Lisbeth are from the same area, and like her flavor of like natural forest magic or whatever is something that wouldn't really be that distasteful to him. So he probably would accept healing from her.
He wouldn't view it as
nobody else.
magic, basically. He views it as like her ability to like apply
Yeah,
salves.
right. So if we heal him up, we can just tie a rope around him. He's got a pretty good climb. He could just climb down, and you can let him down with a rope in case he slips. And
I'm down with that, man. Go knock yourself out. You
pull
go to
stuff
town.
up.
While he's doing that, John, I'm going to have Niall and Lothar can secure the rope. We'll just tie the rope to ourselves, I think.
Okay.
No, you know what? Let's drive a spike into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We can drive a spike into the ground, and then we can kind of use it. I'm not David. I'm not a climber, but if you wrap the rope around that spike, it kind of acts maybe like a slight pulley or something. So maybe it'll be a little easier to support his weight.
Yeah, where the spike is basically acting as a person holding the rope.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but no, but we would still
around and let it go. Yeah.
We would still hold the rope so we can help him climb back up, kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
We're not just tying it off securely.
I see what you mean. Yeah, sure.
But we could wrap it around the spike if we need to, like if he suddenly gets really heavy or he slips or something like that.
Okay. So let's just say like the prep for this, including the healing, is going to take another turn.
Perfect.
You want to roll the heal?
I'll do it. Ooh, doing our 3d6 yellow die. Rolled a 6, so that's 7 points of healing.
Nice. Is he full?
What's that get him up to? Let's see. Yeah, that gets him back up to full to 8.
All right. Once again, Wulfheard is kind of mind-boggled about how efficient Elizabeth is with her healing.
Yeah. She's got a fan.
Is this trap resetting like the other pit traps?
It isn't right now.
Okay. And is there any kind of a catch that's discernible that can be either broken or jammed?
You want to take a turn to look for it?
I will take a turn to look for it while Lothar is doing his plan.
Okay.
Or Wulfheard, yeah.
Yeah. So
what did I call you, Wulfar?
Lothar and Wulfheard.
Whatever his name is.
It's a little rough. Okay, so as you're doing that, you do actually find the catch, Lothar, or whatever the mechanism is. I don't really have it detailed here, but after the amount of time it takes you to do that, that's when you actually see the floor start to like and start to
I'll
like
jam it open while he's
Okay.
I'll jam it open so it can't retract on him.
Okay, cool. So why don't you mark off, I think 3 spikes total, like 2 to jam it and 1 to attach the rope.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, and you're all healed up, and okay, so the rope is down there, you're ready to go.
And so Wulfheard will well, I guess he needs both hands to climb, but yeah, if you guys can I guess maybe lower a lantern after he goes down there, that'll be great. So he'll climb down. He'll make sure the rope is securely around his waist, just in case. And he's gonna use his barbarian skills to climb straight down the side of that pipe. Or
we can probably dangle the lantern on a rope from like your waist, so that the lantern is descending first.
Oh, okay, that's great. I'll do that.
All right, so now a lantern's in the picture because before it was torches, so a lantern's being lit.
Yeah, so we'll light the lantern that he has, put out the torch so we can save that.
Okay, so I thought you told me that you didn't have any more oil left, though.
I don't have any extra flasks of oil. I have whatever oil is in the lantern.
Oh, okay.
So I don't have enough to refill it once it burns out.
Okay, so let's see. 18, 24 minus 2, so this is going to be Wulfheard's lantern. Okay. Got it.
Somebody just moved the map, Mike.
That wasn't me.
Wasn't me.
I'm not doing anything now. Somebody's doing something.
Fixing it. I'm
Oh man.
Control D. All right. Okay, so lanterns around your waist. You go back down, and you see like his light dwindling down, Lothar. And Wulfheard, you drop down, and you look up, and you can see your buddies up there, sort of peering down over you. But you are amidst the dead, and there are a lot of them. They're very, very old. They've been here for some time. Not
So am
ancient.
I. Damn it.
True.
Are any of them still frisky?
Definitely not. They are very, very dead. You can definitely confirm that. They're not ancient old, but as far as the time that adventurers sort of been riding around here, they've been here for some time. So here's what you're looking at. You have definite mundane weapons here. You have 2 long swords, 1 mace, 3 short swords, and 6 spears. One of those spears, so five of the spears are mundane. One of them is definitely like nicer than the other one, and it has a shining tip on the end, right? And it's barbed, right? So it has like 2 barbs at the base of the blade itself. And what's interesting is that where a normal human-sized person would grasp the spear with 2 hands. That section of the very, very well hardened wood is actually covered with pebbly, oily sort of like skin. And you have seen this before on the walls in some areas, specific areas of Arden Vul, like in
that's right.
in Killick's chamber, and some of the places that Rin 1 was exploring solo. Right,
Yeah.
there's
Does it look like it's hide from like a hopper?
It does, yeah. Indeed it does.
Oh, cool.
Now the spear itself looks like a normal like Arcantian spear, but it just has like this oily skin to grasp with. There are 12 suits of armor that are basically unusable. They're like rotted leather and some Lorica segmentata. There are 3 usable shields. 2 of them are normal. The one that was upside down that you could tell was definitely nicer than the other one is really nice. It's like a kite shield, and it bears a sigil on the front, which you recognize. It's of a dragon rampant. All right, and that is a sigil that you, even though the fact that you guys are Wiskin and Thorkin, you are actually citizens of the Empire, and you recognize it as the symbol of House Ligarion, which is historically the chief rival to House Basilion, which is the ruling house, the one that has the Emperor's line. Lady Alexia and her half brother Iskander, they are both Basilions, right? But Ligarion is sort of like their chief rival.
Okay.
In addition, there are the following coins. And these are all modern Arcantian, not Solidai. There is 257 gold, 143 silver, and 87 copper.
I'm sorry, 257 gold.
Yep, 143 silver, and 87 copper. And there are 3 vials, 2 of which you can readily identify as holy water, and one is sort of a bright blue watery substance. So pretty cool.
Okay. Search, especially John, I'm curious about the body or bodies that are closest to that fancy shield, the House of Ligarion shield.
Mm-hmm.
Does that body have anything on it that would be identifiable? Does it have like anything in pouches, any jewelry, any signia on the body?
I know what you're asking. Not in that way, but you can definitely tell that the body, like the arm, that it was strapped to, that belonged to a male warrior that had definitely had nicer armor than a lot of the other ones around there. Like it looks like he was probably aristocratic, or had money. Yeah.
But it's still unusable armor. It's
still unusable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So just to go over this, I just want to go over my list real quick again, John.
Yep.
2 long swords, mundane. 1 mace, mundane. 6 spears. 1 seems magical. Has a oily, pebbly hand grip, probably hopper hide. 12 suits of unusable armor. 3 usable shields. 1 of them seems possibly magical or finely made or whatever. Kite shield with dragon rampant blazon, which is a House Ligarion sigil.
Yes.
257 gold, 143 silver, 87 copper, 3 vials, 2 of which are holy water. 1 is a watery blue substance.
Yep. And the only thing you're missing is 3 short swords, mundane.
Okay.
3 short swords. Okay.
I kind of feel like we should just 86 the mundane stuff, dude, and not even worry about it, right?
Yeah. I'm thinking that like the cool spear sounds kind of neat. He would, just okay. I know I have a bad history of this, but with his non-dominant hand, he's gonna pick up the spear with the cool oily thing because he's a warrior. You'd want to see how this thing feels.
Sure.
And he has a mundane spear, as long as it doesn't it's not radiating magic or anything. He'd try
it's not, but there's also plenty of length of that spear where you don't have to touch that pebbly if you're worried about it. Do you want to actually see what it?
Oh no, he wants to touch that stuff to see if it makes it hard to use. It looks
nothing
weird.
bad happens. It gives you kind of a distinct, it feels kind of gross. It's just but where you thought that it would probably be slippery because of the sheen it sort of has on it, it's not. You can actually get a really firm grip, and like the little pebbly scaliness of it actually allows you to, it prevents slippage. It actually gives like a good firm grip. Okay. Nothing seems to happen to you. Like you don't sense anything magical happening to you.
Oh, good, because that's the worst. We may have lost Mike, John. I don't see him in.
He has disappeared. Why don't we this is actually a good point for a break, so why don't we take a break? We'll figure out what's happening with Mike, and we will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladders empty, beers full. Matt reminded me on the break that we've got to give you page numbers so we can reference in case we need to look them up again. So all of these treasures, Mike, were found on page 181. And I have 2 additional things that I forgot to mention about both the interesting spear and the interesting shield. So the shield first, there is in addition to the dragon rampant, which gives it away that it's from House Ligurian, in like a banner like underneath the dragon is painted the words Dominari Kailos, which is the Ligurian motto, which means oh, you know what? I'm wrong. It is not the Ligurian motto, and is not painted underneath. What's interesting, this was what makes it interesting actually, is that it seems to be actually incised into the leather backing, like the padding behind the shield is that phrase. It's in Mithric, and it says Dominari Kailos, which means dominate or rule the skies.
Oh, interesting.
Kylos, Kylos.
No, sorry, it's a Latin thing. Caelos.
Caelos.
Yeah, Dominari Kailos.
Rule the skies.
Yeah, that is not the Ligurian motto. That's important to note. So it's
do we recognize that motto from somewhere else?
No, you just recognize it as Mithric, and you know what it means. The spear has, interestingly enough, a word incised on one of the wooden, like so. There's those 2 parts that actually have the hopper skin, and in the wooden section that's in between that is expertly inscribed a modern Arcantian word, and that word is frog catcher.
I like it.
Nice.
Okay, cool. All right, so here's what I'm thinking, Mike. You let me know. I can drop some stuff.
Right.
If I drop that old rope that I said we got up there, that was garbage, a spear that he had taken off of one of the dead animal guys, and a javelin that he bought. It was a cheap javelin. He can do that and the coins and still be at 90.
Okay.
And if he just fills just for the climb back up, he could bring up the 3 vials, and then we can redistribute that so we can get him back up to speed.
Okay, can we? Does that include the gold? I don't care about the silver or the copper.
Yeah. That includes 2 slots because each slot is 100 gold, right, John? If I'm
So
remembering correctly.
you need 3 slots for coin.
It was 2. Yeah, it was 257 gold. Oh, okay. So 3 slots for that. I got the wrong one.
The shield can go across your back.
It still takes a slot, but
it's still a little metagamey. But just so you're aware, like 200 of that gold takes up a slot, but the 57 doesn't take up anything until you actually hit the next 100.
Oh, cool.
So
okay.
Yeah.
I'll just put that in as unencumbering for the 57. So he can do the 200 in 2 different slots, and then he can fill up 3 slots with the vials. He'll be heavy climbing back up, but he can do it. I think what would be smart is to have him actually climb up the other side so that he can spike a rope on the other side that he's tied to, so that it's easier for everybody to get across.
Yeah, I do want to point out that the way the pit traps are organized in that other hallway there was not just one trap. So I think you would be safe on that 10-foot section right past this trap.
But we'll test, yeah.
Right. But I'm just saying is I don't want us to get caught into a situation when we're surrounded by pit traps and out of rope or anything like that. So
he's got a ton of hit points. He can check this out.
Okay. So John, while he does that, while he makes that 30-foot climb up on the other wall, we will be, Niall and I will be taking in the slack so that if he falls, he's not going to fall all the way to the bottom type thing. Does that make sense?
Understood. Yeah. He would still kind of crash into the side though.
He'd swing like a pendulum into the wall like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's a D6 instead of 3D6. Down the line.
Yeah. Do you have slots for the spear and the shield? Did I miss you say that or?
Yeah. I'm good. So I'm dropping some stuff. So he's going to have on him that fancy shield, the fancy spear. Then
the coins and the vials.
The coins and the vials. Yeah, and he's still good.
But you're just taking the gold, right?
Yeah, just the gold.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. So you're going to be basically free climbing up. Now it's rough stone, but it is carved stone, right? So I can't remember now. Do barbarians have a climb skill? I think maybe they do.
Barbarians do in fact have a climb skill, John.
Is it different than a thieves? Like, what's the description of their actual
it is called climb natural sheer surfaces.
Oh, wah wah.
Womp womp womp.
Let me take a look at it. We'll actually show the people at home too. Barbarian climb sheer surfaces, only a natural tree shrink, cliff faces. Yeah, this isn't going to count. Like I would say like a cavern, yes, but unfortunately this is Arcantian stone. It's rough, but not that rough. So you're basically...
So he'll climb back up the same side then, I guess.
You would have a 1 in 6 chance.
He doesn't like that, especially with how heavy he is with everything. He'll just climb back up the same side.
Okay.
I think we'd have a better chance of running and jumping a 10-foot pit.
Yeah. Okay. So there's no roll at all to get up using the rope, so you're able to haul up your gear and you're on that same side. I'm going to say that like assessing everything, getting everything strapped to yourself, getting back up is actually going to take 2 turns. Okay. It is now 5:40 in the evening. When you climb back up there, breathing a little bit heavy. And yeah, you have a 10-foot gap. I'd say like a 10-foot leap. I don't know. I'm trying to visualize that. That seems like it's not that easy, right? Especially if you're loaded down, but not that hard. I would give it like a 1 in 6 chance of failure.
Yeah, like we could distribute. I mean, once he got back up, he doesn't want to be so weighted down, so he'd give the 3 vials over to Lisbeth, which gets it down, and then he's at 90, which is still pretty spry.
Yeah. Yeah. So unless you have some other means, I'm going to call it as a 1 in 6 of. Let's put it this way. I'll telegraph it real much. It's 10 foot. Loaded down is not that easy, but if you fail the roll, if you roll the 1 and the 1d6, I'm not going to say like you drop instantly in. I would have to have you make a save versus wands, and if you made that, you'd be like clinging on to the edge of the other side. But if you fail, that if you fail that saving throw in addition, you're going to drop.
Yeah, well, we can
What
also
if
do.
Oh,
I think we have the same idea, Mike. Go ahead.
what if he drops all of his gear? Does that make it easier?
I don't know. You guys tell me. I'm having for some reason, my mind is blanking on like a 10-foot
I mean,
distance.
1 and 6 with a good running start seems fair, especially with what I was having in mind. He's already got the rope around his waist. If we just play out, 12 feet, 10 feet extra of rope, then he can't fall all the way down. He can only fall 10, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna just to make it easy. I'm gonna call it a 1 and 6 in general.
Okay.
Unless you
be that guy, John, but I mean, I'm gonna say is that the hallway right outside there is very narrow. I don't know that you're gonna get you can't get a decent running start to jump across that fence.
That's true too. Yeah. So that even further, just 1 and 6.
Yeah. I'm fine with it. Just tie the rope around my goddamn waist. Let's go. We've been here too long.
Do it. Do it.
So I need four rolls. Go for it. And tell me who's who's going at each time.
Wulfheard's going to jump across, and he's going to look on the other side to see if there's anything he can affix the rope to.
Okay. So Wulfheard first. Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's a 3.
Okay, cool. All right, so you easily jump over to the other side. You've got your lantern tied to your waist. When you're on the other side, it does illuminate further down the hallway, and you can see that it goes for another 10 feet before it hits a blank wall.
Oh, man. Okay, well, we know how that goes.
Don't know what to tell you. I guess it's time to go back. So you go back and...
Boy, do we have a story to tell. All right, so he's going to repeat the wisdom that we've tried before. Hold the lamp down close towards the bottom. He's going to, with still that rope taut, tap, tap, tap. Carefully use the butt end of that new spear.
Mhm.
Tap, tap, tap. Look, he's
on
looking
every
on the
10-foot section, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Mhm.
He's looking for holes in the wall, seams in the floor. He knows this is a heavily trapped area, so he's being very careful.
So are you looking? You're just looking for traps right now, not secret doors. Is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, he wants to make sure it's safe before he does anything. And they're just, I guess, playing out the rope as he does it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to say it's going to take a turn to look for traps, and you're fairly confident that you don't see anything.
Okay.
That's a giveaway.
Which 10-foot section is he searching right now? I'm confused.
I'm giving him the entire span of what he can see.
All the way up to the blank wall?
Mm-hmm.
That's very generous.
Don't question it, Mike. Don't question it.
I know,
It's fine.
seriously. That's very
It's
generous,
fine.
John.
Well, he's telling me exactly what he's doing, so I'm not going to.
Okay.
I'm just not going to default to a 10-foot.
All right, now go look for secret doors.
Yeah. Now, so first, John, is there anything on this side of the pit trap that I can affix the rope to?
No.
Okay, so he'll not to endanger anybody else very quickly. He'll at that end of the hallway. He'll start there at the dead end, looking for. Like he saw the way the seam was hidden before, so he's going to look for seams just the way that Lothar did, and also like check all the mortar that seemed to be key. Looking for any kind of hidden door either at the end or southern or northern sides of that dead end there.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you're very diligent. You look. Your first impulse to mimic what Lothar did yields nothing at first, so you don't see. You're not detecting like a seam of a door shape. However, where the bottom of the wall meets the floor, in the middle of the western wall, you do detect that there is a small, like 1/8 of an inch wide opening between the wall and the floor. So you know what I mean, like where there's normally there's no break at all. There's like a very thin like slot right at the base.
Can I hold the lantern flame down close to that to see if it flickers a little bit, to see if there's like any air current at all flowing through there?
Yeah, it's a good point. There is indeed like a very slight air current. Yeah.
Okay. So looking at then the edges of the wall where it meets on the north and south side, does it look like this is something a wall that could like travel up and down and like a garage door and
No.
didn't close all the way?
No. It's like I would say the slot itself is about a foot wide.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like right in the middle of the western wall, but it's only like 1/8 of an inch wide, thick. Do you know what I mean? Like the gap is only like 1/8 of an inch wide.
Okay, that's too thin even to stick his finger in. So,
Matt, you might want to just try pushing on the door again. But before you do, can we like brace ourselves with the rope so that if he falls, John, we're paying out rope as he goes across?
yeah, there should still be
Okay.
what 10, 20, 30, 40. So it should still be
So
10 feet left.
Before he dinks around with that, we wrap the rope around the spike on the floor, and Niall and I will brace ourselves in case he drops.
Okay, got it. Understood.
All right. So he still has a short sword, which would have a thinner blade. He's going to take that and very gently, like he's going to try to go through and see if anything catches. Right. So he's going to slide, not like hard and fast, just like
real gentle,
gently, like see if he can find
perfect.
something.
Yeah. So the very tip of your blade can actually fit in there, and you move it slightly to the right, and indeed it hits against like something solid, like a catch that you can feel sort of give just a little bit, but your awareness allows you to like stop yourself before you actually continue forward. But you definitely hit something there, that is movable.
Okay. I'm suspicious. Looking up above, is there anything that could like, fall down and hit him? Any loose rocks, any seams up above that looks like something could swing down?
Good thing to look for. You don't see anything. The only thing noticeable about this ceiling is that it's much lower, as I told you, than most hallways. It's only 6 feet high.
What do you got, Mike?
I would move back 10 feet down the corridor and then leave the short sword like wedged in there, like against the catch, and then use the butt of your spear to jam the short sword.
Yeah. Good idea. I can get some space. So I'll do just that. I'll leave the short sword kind of, right up against the thing. I'll back up. I'll hold that spear and then try to like nudge the short sword with the spear. Yeah. So that there's like me, spear, short sword length, and then
gotcha.
Try to
okay. Yeah. So you hear like an audible click as the sword like moves the catch, right? And then you see that dust sort of explodes on the western wall in the mortar that does form like a door shape.
Oh, cool.
Right. So it's like, like something starts to move and it explodes mortar outwards. Right. So like dust and debris sort of floats out, not in like a trap sort of way, but just, from sudden movement. And then unlike the other door that you went through, which was like a normal stone door that sort of pivoted that on a normal hinge, this one has a central pin. So it actually goes, it swings, like the Last Crusade thing, like when they're in the German castle, right? Just, and that's what happens. Is it just moves, and so like there's two entrances that kind of continue on to the west.
My mind went to Young Frankenstein.
Young Frankenstein too. Yes,
what
exactly.
Was the candle back?
Beyond, you're 10 foot away from that now, of course, but your lantern light can shine and shows you that the passageway continues to the west from where you are. It continues. So from beyond the door it goes for 20 feet because that's the extent of your lantern light from where you're standing, right? But in addition, right beyond the door as well, there's a 10-foot wide passageway that goes north as well.
Okay, so it kind of goes like that, or does it open up after?
No, so it goes 20. It goes 20 feet to the west directly, but right past the door, it also goes to the north.
Gotcha. Okay. So kind of like that.
You got it. Yes, correct.
Got it. All right. So he's going to 10, 20, 30, 40. There's plenty of room. He can use that door. He can actually like loop the rope around the door and use that to secure it for the rest of the party to make it easy for them to get across that 10-foot gap. So he's going to pull that rope tight. So untie it around his waist.
Well, how are you going to loop it through the door?
Well, the door's like pivoted.
Yeah.
Right? So it's pivoted in the center. It's like a revolving door.
Yeah.
So we're going to take it out one side, loop it back around, and then tie it against itself.
I see. Okay. That's pretty cool. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So then we have a nice secure end on this side and one on the other.
I do think, though, that like if you go around the entire door, that would take up the remainder of the slack.
Iron spike, bud. Just use an iron spike so it can't shut.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, no problem. I'll spike, put the spike in the path of the spin so it can't close on me, and spike it in, bang, 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 and tighten the rope that way. That
Okay,
works too.
mark off a spike.
Gotcha.
All right.
So now we got to get the rest of our so dexterous party across this pit.
Okay, if you're going to leap, I just need 3 more.
If we have that rope, right? Can't that rope mitigate the?
Yeah. Like we can do David's trick where we create like the umbilical, right?
Oh yeah, like the loop. Yeah, you put a loop over it and you run.
I'll just cause it a penalty of time. It'll take time to like carefully go across. Is that okay?
We're all
take
safe.
time.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you get across safely, and that actually gets you right at the 6 p.m. mark. And I just want to show everybody here that is another finished time tracking sheet.
Nice. How many of those have we done, John?
Oh, I got them all right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 full sheets. All right, moving on to the next one. I got Wulfheard's lantern marked here, and we're good. We're at 6 p.m. Just be aware that you do have 6 hours left before fatigue kicks in. And you are on the other side. Okay, now, one thing that you did notice, I should have told you, Wulfheard, when you were looking through the door, in addition to the different pathways that you could go, you also noticed that on the other side of the door, it's much less dusty.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Okay, and the ceilings themselves go back to their normal 10-foot Arcantian height.
Here's the thing I'm just going to point out, which I'm very, very confused by. We have not found an unblocked egress from the cephalopod room all the way to the chasm. And yet someone at some point told us that the cephalopod come from the chasm. So how the hell did they get to that room?
I have a theory. Mike. You know what I think happens? You know that platform that we saw to the north? I think that connects
to the northern hallway.
The hallway that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, that's
probably flowed in that way.
All right. Do we want to go do that northern hallway first and kind of firm that up?
Yes, although we need to be careful because of those cephalopods. If that's the way that they came in, which we suspect, there could be more of them in this hallway.
That's true.
John, what he's gonna do, I guess, while everybody's doing, just to get a look, he's gonna step in that hallway to look, to get a good view, not only west but north. But when he starts exploring, he's gonna do it with. He's gonna take that shield and just like put it above his head, knowing that those things drop directly down, like that's their MO.
Sure.
So he's gonna, umbrella shield it.
Okay, so when you step when you move into that intersection there and you shine your lantern, it exposes the further remainder of that western corridor, and you guys may have already surmised, but it is just a little bit of player mapping error that it does indeed connect with the false door chamber.
Okay.
So you just need to.
We need to move that whole corridor down like 10 feet, right?
Yep, just 10 feet down, and it was literally just a totally honest, not even a mistake on Ted's part. It just, it's that the fact that he drew that platform in the chasm that caused that mistake to be made. You know what I mean? Like if he had drawn it down, it would have been spot on.
Okay. I'll just leave it as like this little. That's the player error causeway.
Another thing that won't cause any sort of repercussions is if you just extend that north-south corridor by 10 feet, you could just do it that way as well.
Oh, this way over here.
Yeah,
like
you could like encircle everything, like select everything on the eastern western corridor, drop it down, and then just add like a little section down. If you wanted to make it look nice.
He's doing his own special way.
Yeah, no problem. Whatever. It's all good.
All right. I love that Matt is, I love his umbrella shield idea. Niall and Lothar, Niall going first. Why don't we take point, Matt, while you're fixing that, and we will go explore up that northern hallway. Does Niall have a 10-foot pole or any kind of long weapon? Actually, I'm running him, so I should look.
He's got the Ruiner, which is the big old battle axe.
All right, so Johnny's basically going to be tapping the floor, like giving it good solid taps with the haft of his weapon before he progresses through another 10-foot section.
Okay, so moving very, very slowly and carefully.
Hell yeah.
Do you guys have light?
Yep. We have a torch. I will, if we are out of torches, I will light another one off the lantern.
Right at this turn is actually when, if you had that torch, it would have gone out. So I just need to light
Perfect.
another one. And who's carrying it?
Yeah. Lothar.
Lothar's torch. Okay.
All right. So mace is on my belt, shield is over my head, and torch is in my hand.
Okay, cool. So that corridor, just standing in the intersection, Lothar, you can see that it goes 30 feet to the north before it continues onwards into the darkness. You want to move ahead a little bit?
Yeah, doing the same thing that we're talking about.
Okay. So moving very, very careful with the butt of your axe, testing the floor, looking very carefully for traps. The corridor goes down for 40 feet total before it opens up into what looks to have once been a square chamber, 20 by 20, and you're entering in from the western side of the southern end of it.
All right, I'm back over here. So how far?
So it goes up 40 feet.
40 feet.
Okay, 10, 20, 30, 40 up here.
Don't forget you're starting from your new part there, right? So
yeah, so you're too
10,
far.
20, 30, 40. So
there you go. Yeah. And then it opens up into a 20 by 20 square room, and you're entering in from the western part of the southern end of it. Okay. However, the northeast section of that is actually cut off because you can feel as you enter into the room, Lothar, or as you're about to enter the room, you can feel the breezes of the chasm.
Okay.
Approach
right.
as you step in, and you can see that large section of basically the entire northeast part of it, that northeast square is basically is open chasm.
Okay.
All right. So Ted was making judgments about the chasm lines there, but now you know exactly where the chasm kind of comes, and so first of all is you're like, oh, the chasm. All right, so that makes sense for the cephalopods. But what dominates your vision here is, give me 1 second. First of all, hold on 1 second. Don't mind me at all. Okay. There is a stone chair proportioned for human beings, but made out of stone, that is directly in the center of that room, and it is facing the open chasm. So it's sort of facing directly northeast at a 45-degree angle.
Interesting.
All right.
Does the opening to the chasm, John, look like something that was broken, like the wall was broken down, or is it like a smooth, meant to be there construction?
It's natural chasm opening, right? So it's difficult to tell if like a piece of like the platform was shorn off, but it just looks like the platform goes so far, and then it just is at the edge of the at the edge of the chasm. It is different, however. Like, let me just double check. I'm not pulling that out of my ass. No, it's about the same as the other platform that you were on. That one was also sort of rough as well.
So, John, is there some kind of mapping error in this zone?
Yeah,
here?
John said that the outline of the chasm didn't match. Ted was making a supposition. I wouldn't worry about it right now, Matt. Just
I was just making
line.
sure I wasn't missing anything. So it's kind of like this.
So the opening,
Yes,
John,
correct.
to that northeast section is a floor to ceiling opening. It is not like you remember how the goblin section, it looked like it had been bashed in from the chasm side or something like that, or bashed out. It didn't look like a finished portal. It just looked like a hole in the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is how do I describe it? It's most of the chamber is inset into stone, like there's a ceiling, right?
Right.
And yeah, so there's like a hole, like a really wide hole, like a 10-foot wide hole that leads out to the chasm.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we're at the threshold of that room, correct?
You're at the threshold. Now you're looking at the back of the chair. It is literally like a chair with a back. There are no legs. It's made out of stone, right? So it's just like a solid square piece that's sort of in the center, but it has like a stone back to rest against, and it has stone armrests as well. But you can't see the seat of it because of the vantage point you're at.
I understand. So we can't see the lich that's just chilling in that chair right there.
If there's something sitting in the chair that is smaller than the chair's back, you cannot see it. That's correct.
So if a human-sized creature were sitting in that chair, we would see its head?
Possibly if it was a tall human.
Okay.
So before we cross the threshold into that room, John, I'm going to tap the floor with the hilt of my torch, or if Niall's doing it with the hilt of the ruiner. We want to look for any holes in the floor, holes in the wall, like that we can see from that threshold. And then, assuming that nothing happens, I'm going to creep up to the edge of the chair. Is the chair on like a plinth?
No, it is solid. It looks like it's not part of the stone that the floor is, but it's definitely like on that stone, like really.
So it doesn't look like there's something that would revolve.
No, unless it's some very ingenious mechanism.
Well, why would we find one of those here? Okay, so anyway, so I will search for the traps. Assuming that there are no traps, then I will go and investigate the chair.
Okay, you don't see anything. It takes a turn to do so, though, and you move into the room. Nothing untoward happens. You are getting that chill breeze that's coming up from the chasm. Weird noises sort of filtering up from below. You know, it's all very sort of spooky. You know, and it's just very odd because you're seeing this very, constructed thing here. When you peer over the back of the chair, there's no one sitting there. But there is, and the chair itself is unadorned except for one single thing, and that is on the seat, like where you would put your butt. There is a glyph. And that glyph, actually, Lothar, you wouldn't recognize it, but because we metagame and we kind of have shared knowledge, I will say that Njal would be able to back you up on this, actually, because I think Njal was present for this. He recognizes it as what looks at first glance to be a Rudishva glyph.
Oh.
Okay. When he kind of takes a little bit of a closer look, he tells you, he's like, boss, it sure looks like one of those weird techie sort of things that we saw in the space gibbets, but you can see here it's a little bit crude. It looks like it may have been drawn by, or it's like a crude mimicry by human hands.
So, Njal, what you're telling me is you think that some human might have drawn that on this chair? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm telling you, boss.
All right.
Oh, I grew up in Texas and my soul weeps. But please go.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's fucking excellent.
I can tell you I'm as nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs right now, boy.
So so he tells you that it looks like the shape of it looks Rudishva, like the geometry of it and everything, but it definitely looks not as fluid and expert as you saw in that weird cryo chamber sort of place, right? And on the weird monitors and all that sort of stuff, right? It looks like like a crude mimicry.
Interesting. Anything above that chair, John? Or if we check, like I want to give that a thorough look around. Look around the base. Does it pivot? Is it, was it placed there? Was it carved out of the stone? Anything above it?
Sure. Taking a turn. Nothing out of the ordinary. You can also confirm that there is no ingenious mechanism as far as moving the chair. It looks like with enough force, it looks like a solid piece of carved stone. But it's not like bolted into the floor. So it looks like it could probably just be normally moved, but not in any sort of like revealing a secret thing,
I think so. So a heavy stone chair is placed on the floor.
Has been placed here. Yeah, exactly. Okay. And there is no sign. I'll also give you this because you took a whole turn to look. There is no sign of scraped stone around, like the chair has been moved since it was placed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's somebody set it here and they did it right as they.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
If we look out from this vantage point, can we see the other side of the chasm, or is it too far across? If we go to the edge there and look out.
So so that's a good question. Let's see. You cannot.
Okay.
You shine your light 30 feet out, and it is the vast gulf of the chasm in front of you. So yeah, unfortunately, your light doesn't reach that far.
And if we look to the north, swing the torch out and take a look to the left there, what does it seem to do out that way?
It curves naturally, keeps going in that direction, but you don't see any object, any place of interest like you did previously.
Okay, so kind of directly northish or northeasty?
In that same vectorish, sort of northwesterly. Yeah. It keeps going that direction for 30 feet, but that's not that far,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. John, while he's doing the chasm thing, I just want to try and search the western section of this room for a secret door.
Sure, you can do it at the same time. You do not find anything.
Okay, cool. And then Matt, so now we're at that point where we have to either brave the cephalopod room and then go back and get the loot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's exactly what we want to do. I think we all want to. Well, shoot, we've got this stuff too.
I said we can go back. We can drop off all the stuff that we've got right now on us to free up the slots, and then come back. But I also don't think that this location, this pathway that we found, is an efficient way to get back. I mean, we don't want to go back across the rope bridge of the chasm,
Right,
or navigate all the pit
stuff.
traps. So we're better off just going back the way we originally had come, and then trying to get all that loot.
Are you telling me that you're not going to sit in the chair?
John, there's a glyph, potentially a magical glyph.
I'm just saying, if a certain player was present, that seat would have already been sat in.
I know Ted's crazy like that, but Ted's not here. All right, fine. I'm going to take my 5th level cleric that I worked really hard for. I'm going to say a prayer to Odin, and I'm going to sit in the chair. Now
you don't. I'm not. You do whatever you want to do.
No, I'm doing it now. No, I'm doing it now.
Really, you don't have to. I was just joking. If you want to be cautious, you know that's probably a smart move.
John, I sit in the chair.
Okay, awesome. All right.
Make a save.
Basically, yeah.
That's the glyph for rocket propulsion. Just shoots right straight up in the ceiling.
Yeah. Okay. So you sit down in the chair, Lothar. You put your hands on the stone, the unadorned stone arms. Okay. Wulfheard and the rest of you guys, as you look at Lothar, you can see that. I guess it would look kind of funny. Is like a light kind of comes out from underneath his ass, right?
Okay. I mean, we've seen this before, but go ahead.
Yes, as the glyph seems to activate. Okay, Lothar, as the glyph activates, you can also sense like the light coming out from underneath. Your vision is completely like what you're seeing right now as you sort of like peer out across the vastness of the chasm, completely disappears and changes into something else. Roll me a d10, please.
Okay. Adventure, excitement.
Yeah.
A cleric craves not these things. 4.
A 4. Okay. Roll me a d6.
A 2.
A 2. Okay. All right. This is cool. Okay. Blackness for a second. All right. You start to panic. You feel like intense vertigo as if you're falling straight down the chasm itself. Right. That's the kind of a feeling that you get. And then your vision clears and you are aware in your brain that you are seeing somewhere that you are not right now. Like you haven't been teleported anywhere. Like you're getting like basically like a clairvoyance. Like you're seeing somewhere else from a different point of view. Right. And what you're seeing is you are in a much larger square chamber that is looking out past the chasm. All right. And before you, right to your right, is another stone chair. But this stone chair is huge. Okay. And it is much too big for a human. It is loosely covered with a piece of leather on the back of it. And on the seat itself is a Rudishva glyph, the same one that you sat on, but this one is true Rudishva. All right, like a real Rudishva glyph. And and it also had that leather covering on the back of it as well. Behind that seat is a stone stele. Stele? Do you know Stele? Stele, I think they're called. Like it's like a stone slab.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
I get slab. I speak slab.
I remember from archaeology, is a stele. I think it's what I'm sure someone will correct me in the comments.
Where is the slab, John?
It is directly behind the seat, sort of tucked in back towards the back corner of this large chamber. Let me just make sure I'm saying it right here. Yeah, and it's quite large. It's 8 feet by 15 feet tall, set into the floor behind the chair. And inscribed on that stele is a strange form of a tall biped with small horns on its temples, like tiny little horns, a prominent supraorbital ridge, like over its eyes, right? And a prominent jawbone as well. The figure also appears to have slightly visible fangs, like that, not huge tusks, but just like slightly visible fangs, right? And thin, and but it's inscribed on this stele itself, right?
That sounds really familiar, John. Does that when Y'all was there, he would have seen that
In the spaceship, like
Yep.
one of the guys that was in the chairs.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Lothar, you wouldn't know at all.
Right.
If you can Lothar speak, and can he describe these things that he's seeing?
He cannot actually when he's here right now.
Okay.
And so once again, it's like the chair is in the center of the room, massive. It's like an exact duplicate of the one that you're sitting in, but huge. It looks like it was fitted for a creature of this size, of the one that's inscribed on that stele. That stele is behind the chair. In front of the chair is the vast expanse of the chasm. Okay. There also appears to be passageways that lead out from both directions on either side of the chair as well.
John, I'm going to try and verbally talk, right? As if I'm talking to someone in the chair. Like I'm going to be like, "Hello, is there anyone there?"
Okay. You actually, I guess I was probably wrong. I think you can actually talk. So no one answers, but the rest of the party, you can hear Lothar actually say that.
And then I'll try and think it really hard, as if maybe there's a mental projection thing going on there, right? And see if I don't know how I would recognize that as being a thing, but I'm assuming that these are some sort of communication device, all right? Some sort of communication magic.
So you're gonna try to like telepath. You're just gonna think the same thing, right?
Yeah, I'll think into that chair. I'll be like, who's there?
Right.
John, Wulfheard would like to take this time to think that our cleric has gone crazy.
You might be right.
It does seem that way. He says, "Hello, is anyone there?" And then he's like real quiet, and he appears to be like listening in the seat. Lothar, you don't hear anything, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But after you think it,
Mm-hmm.
your vision swims again, vertigo, okay, and it rights itself again, and now you're in another place. You don't have to roll this time, all right? And this one is completely different, but you recognize this place. Or at least you recognize the thing that is consuming your vision. And what you see, again, I can't remember if Lothar's been in this room. I think he has. Is you see the bell of a horn that is jutting out of a stone wall.
Huh.
Okay. And what's interesting is this time, instead of just being stationary and viewing where you're kind of projecting, you see this bell, and then your vision gets pulled into the bell of the horn itself, and you enter into the horn. All right.
Wow.
And you seem to go through like a dark passageway, narrow, and it empties out into a room. After quite a long distance, you're not really sure like how much time has passed. And you find yourself in a small, cramped room that is decorated on all four walls with Arcantian frescoes of hawking and hunting and fishing. In the center of that room is a large sarcophagus. And on that sarcophagus is a gisant, right? Like a depiction of a person that's within the sarcophagus, supposedly, right? And that person is a beautiful woman dressed in Thothian priestess robes. Okay. And on her brow, remember, this is all like just carved into stone.
Right.
But your heart leaps when you see it because it's unmistakable because of the tales that have been told about it. Is a depiction of the Iron Circlet of Gonor, one of the Arcantian regalia.
Yeah.
Regalia, yes.
Your heart leaps into your throat, and then you look beyond that sarcophagus at the wall, like directly across from where you're sort of viewing. And what's strange about that wall is that it seems to phase in and out of existence, as if that wall's a bit insubstantial, but only that one.
Can I try and project my consciousness through that wall?
You can attempt to, nothing seems to happen.
Crazy.
John, are these the horns that well, let me ask it this way. The horns on the walls in the large chamber where the beastmen and the gargoyles
The Great
are.
Hall. Mm-hmm.
The description that we have, on our map and our drawing is just like, the abstract indication of horns.
Mm-hmm.
We've been through that room a couple of times now.
Yep.
How large are those horns? Are these, like trumpets, or are these like, 2 foot wide?
Around trumpets, probably a little bit larger, but yeah, around that size. Yeah.
So nothing that a person could like.
No, not
travel
feasibly fit through. That's correct. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and there was 2 of them, but your vision was taken up only by one, Lothar, when you saw it, and then magically or whatever, you were sort of sucked into it. And then there was sort of like an edit, like a cut, where you were sort of like in a dark passageway, and you went down for not down, but through the passageway for a long time, and then it sort of edited it again, and you were in this chamber, with the sarcophagus in the center. The chamber itself was 20 by 20, by the way, if it really matters. I'll let you ponder that. This is a perfect time to take our second break. We will be right back. Okay, we are back. Bladders empty, beers full.
I'm on a vision quest.
Yeah, so you're still sort of in that chair. Your any sort of thoughts or projections and voicing doesn't seem to have any effect.
Okay.
You are very aware though, Lothar. Like you haven't been possessed or anything like that. You're very aware you're sitting in the chair and that you're seeing something strange. You know what I mean?
Right. Can I change my POV? Can I effectively move the camera, to look at things specifically in the room or anything like that?
Good question. Unfortunately not. You can basically, as if you were in the room, you can't move, but you can swivel your head. Right.
Okay.
So you can basically turn 360 degrees. And what I said is basically what I said. So there's only one of the 4 walls. You may have already noticed, but what I have not given you for both places that you've seen is any sense of direction.
Right.
But one of those walls appears to be phasing in and out of existence. The other 3 are normal. All 4 of them, including the weird one, depict these sort of typical Arcantian scenes of outdoor recreational activities.
Okay, so here's what I want to try and look in that room. First of all, I want to look from the way I came and see if there's a passageway, as if I went through the big bell and that led directly to this room.
Great question. Let me just check and see what it actually says here. Hold on. Yes, there is. When you kind of turn all the way around, so on the wall that's opposite the weird one,
right,
there is a very small door on that wall.
Okay.
That door is shut, though.
Right. Very small door on opposite wall of facing. Okay.
Oh,
and then
my mistake too. I'm sorry. There are 4 walls in the room, but so you're sort of standing at the base of the sarcophagus, right? When you look out over the sarcophagus, that wall in front of you is the weird one. You turn around 180 degrees. That's where the door is. Okay. And then on to your right and to your left, there's walls there, but there are also arched passageways that lead into other chambers.
Okay.
Okay. But you cannot move into them.
Right. I want to try and inspect the sarcophagus as much as possible for any names or any other writing on there. I do speak Mithric.
Got it. Let me see if there's anything written.
Yeah, something like Lady Clementia. That's kind of what I'm looking for here.
It is so it's basalt. You can tell that immediately. It's on a 2-foot dais. It's obviously something important, right? Someone important. Indeed, the long side of the sarcophagus that you're facing does have a mythic phrase on it. You can speak it?
Yes.
Okay, it says the following: Neferet, beloved of Thoth, seeker of truth, preserver of secrets.
Neferet, beloved of Thoth, keeper of secrets.
No.
And what was the other phrase?
Beloved of Thoth, seeker of truth, preserver of secrets.
Okay.
What does that wall look like? Is this typical stonework that we've seen kind of throughout Arcontian? Okay.
Yep. It looks like classic Thothian priesthood Arcontian work. The paintings and everything look just like the work that you've seen before. That's interesting enough. This place, they are perfect. They're in perfect condition. They do not appear to have been deteriorated or defaced in any sort of way. They've been perfectly preserved. And in addition, there is no depiction of Thoth here at all. Right? It's like more pedestrian scenes of outdoor stuff, right?
So humans playing highlight or whatever.
Yeah. It's like like I said, hawking, fishing, hunting, outdoor, survival sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Weird. All right, John. I'm gonna try and think at the sarcophagus again, and I'm gonna be like, "Is anyone there?" And I'm gonna see if it changes my perspective again.
Yeah, I can tell you clearly. Like any thoughts or speech gives you no results.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Are any other senses active? Can you hear anything? Can you smell anything?
Just sight.
Just sight? Okay.
Can I end the vision? Can I try and stand up?
Yes. So when you attempt to stand up, you are able to stand up, and you do. The moment that your butt rises up off the seat, the glyph ceases to glow, and you feel completely normal. There's a little bit that vertigo sort of happens for a moment as you stand up, but then you sort of catch yourself on the chair arm, and
I don't like teeter into the chasm or anything.
No, but you're just like, whoa, that was trippy. Yeah.
All right. I explained to them what I saw and said, "Who's going next?"
I'm not gonna sit on that damn thing. Your butt makes your ass glow.
Yeah, that's actually a good point, Wulfheard. You would be very not keen to put your butt in that seat. Yeah.
No. That turns you into a crazy
I try to
person.
convince him. I go, "It's not magic at all. It's like this Japanese toilet. Have you ever used one of those before? It's great."
I've never seen any toilet makes my ass glow.
You've just not been to the right places.
It's the Rudishvan bidet.
Yeah.
Of clairvoyance.
I'm cleaner than I've ever been. All right.
It makes your butt so clean you can see in different places.
All right. Well, this was exciting. So now what are we like? I mean, that's like amazing. So basically,
that's a turn.
John, we think that those bells, the big horns, those are the ones that we saw in the Great Hall that are just very close to where we are, right?
That's what Wulfheard has deduced, but who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
It sure seemed like it. You know what I mean? Yeah, you recognized it. Yeah.
Like it'd be cool to like send a mouse or something down one of those tubes and see what we can find out that way, because they're too small for one of us to go through for sure.
No, they're huge, right? Aren't they really big, John?
No,
they're not
we
huge.
Talked about it. Not big enough.
They're a little bit larger than trumpet bell sized. Like a typical, like if you wanted to make, a hunting horn sort of thing,
Yeah.
Okay.
So you not only went far, you got small, man. You got small.
All right. Well, that's something to discuss. All right. Oh, I did it.
No.
Ted's gonna be so pissed.
It's not on this. It's not on the screen, so the audience didn't see your.
Mike's wrecking the map.
Total fuck up.
Did nothing, liars. All right, so Matt, should we go retrieve our loot? How do we get to the cephalopod room? Do we just duck around the corner really quick and then go back to get the treasure, or do we try and get back to the debauch room and grab everybody and then have them come haul treasure? Like, what do you think?
What if we do this? That the revolving door that we came through, if we can look at that and see if we can close it and then open it again from this side, then that might be a good place to dump our extra stuff here so that we're really light and really fast, and then we can just book it, because it's just that 10-foot U-turn at the end of this hall. We could just book it and run right around that U-turn and go back through all of the religious chambers that David found to go load up, and then we don't have to worry about where our stuff is located. It would be behind this revolving door safe there, and then we can go get more valuable stuff. But I think the most important thing is we'll be really light and really fast when we're trying to, skirt around that corner at the end of the hallway there and avoid the cephalopods.
Are you talking about trying to drop all of our mundane gear?
Yeah, like anything that we're willing to drop now to make space for the stuff that we have. I don't think we need to drop much, but we did, acquire some new things that we hadn't accounted for. But if we drop a little bit of some of this, of our mundane things that are easily replaced on the other side of this spinny wall, then we'll know that it's easy to get to if we want it, but it'd be relatively safe, and we'll be, light and ready to carry stuff back.
I will say that you know that no matter how burdened you are, it takes no effort at all to whip around that corner in the cephalopod room. If you're just going from one passageway to the other, it's only crossing the entire chamber where you sort of have to worry about the cephalopods.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, let's just keep our stuff with us then. We can lock it in an easier room. I'm all for that. If we're ready, we can shade our lights so that it's not drawing so much attention, and just whip around that corner.
Let's do it. I love this plan.
Okay. Yes. Give me 1 second. Okay. So yeah, that's your plan. So you move into that that chamber that you had been before, which had the false stone. It had the real stone doors that led to false doors. The trap-filled place. As you enter that room, yeah. And remember that this room is actually, you remember it because of the stone doors, but don't forget the dominant feature in this room is actually a 4-foot tall alabaster bookstand, in which were all these scraps of parchment that were sort of, sitting there. And the room was filled with dust and trash. Now, you guys have been moving through here a couple of times, and so a lot of the dust has been removed. Interesting enough, though, it seems, based on what you see when you step into the room, that maybe someone else has been here recently as well, while you've been journeying far to the east. Because you see, as you move through the room and kind of take a look around, first of all, it looks like the room is completely free of dust. And a lot of the trash in a particular area has actually been moved aside. And that area is on the eastern wall to the north of the eastern passageway that you are entering into the room from. Do you understand what I mean? Right, so there's a small 10-foot section of eastern wall there in the room. Okay.
So near where it says strong doors.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
On that eastern section, you can see what you when you had first went here was nothing but blank wall. It looks like someone has cleared the trash from that area and has drawn on a section of the wall at about eye level in charcoal a question mark.
Huh. So,
John, is the question
here.
mark at like human size, like
Yes.
arm level, or
Mhm.
goblin size? Okay.
Human.
Okay.
I think anyone who has a spear should have it out in front of them, just in case there's a gelatinous cube lurking in the area.
Sure.
Hey man, we run into them in the past.
Yeah, it'll never happen. Those are a myth.
Well, I don't like that. Let's definitely close the secret door, the rotating secret door.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Okay.
John, does it look like we could open that back up before we close it?
I was just going to mention it. Yeah, it looks like you can the exact same way of opening the door you can do from this side. So inserting like a thin thing and getting the catch underneath the wall on the floor would trigger it again.
Okay. And we could try to, I don't know what's really there. I mean, we've disturbed that dust, but if it's possible, like I would imagine it might leave some tracks on the floor from rotating, at least disguise those, like clear away those to make sure it doesn't leave any of those like, circular arcs in past and to clearly.
Speaking of which, I can't remember, do druids get that ability to do that?
Druids do have a cool thing. They, it is a pass without trace kind of feature.
Move without leaving any tracks. So, I think that's a little bit different.
Isn't it just for them though? Isn't it just for their own?
It's just for them, and I think it's not really doesn't really cover this. But okay, but what you said, you can do it. You can do it mundanely. Yeah,
like fine. Anybody could do that. Just like wipe it away, or I mean, I don't think you can redistribute dust, but at least you can clear the confuse it so it doesn't look like this swung open.
Not a problem.
Just have Wulfheard fart some dust at that door.
I mean, dust comes out no matter what he does. So
who needs magic?
Easy. Yeah. But I would like, John, where that question mark is. Well, one team is like taking care of that door and erasing the traces of it. Mm-hmm. Can we check? Because I don't know if those other guys did that. That area with the question mark on it to look and see. Like now we've seen some of the ways that they've done these seams along the stonework to see if there's in fact a secret door hidden where that question mark is, and that little 10-foot section there.
You want to take a turn?
Yeah. While he's doing that, John, I want to listen at the trap doors. Niall will listen at one. I will listen at the other to see if we hear anyone screaming or tapping on the wall trying to get back out.
Okay. You don't hear anything.
Okay.
Now, what you do see, Lothar, I'll get right back to you, Wulfheard. What you do see, Lothar, though, is that the right stone door, the eastern stone door, I should say, is slightly ajar. The Wulfheard, at the same time, you do indeed find the very ingenious outline of a normal human-sized door centered basically on that question mark. I am going to say, too, that I forgot to mark off traveling. So traveling from the seat to this point took a turn, and then searching for the secret door also took a turn. So 2 turns have gone by.
Okay. So it's going to be like 6:20?
It is now 6:50.
Okay.
All right. Do we want to check that doorway first before we open up the secret, Mike?
Yeah, I think so. I think we should look in there and make sure there's no, somebody went in there and then left the door open. That's
Can we see what's holding that door open, John? Because we know that on their own they'll slam shut.
Yeah. There is a spike that's been put under the door.
All right. Well, I think if we're going to
door open and see if we see anything in there.
Okay. Well, let's ready ourselves in case somebody's on the other side ready to jump out at us.
Yeah.
Maybe Niall up front.
Niall up front, Lothar right behind him.
Yeah.
Shield and mace.
Yeah.
All right, so Njal and Lothar, when you have your weapons out and you look through the doorway, the corridor is dark. Your light shines forth. It shows what you saw before, which was a plastered walls painted sky blue with numerous white ibises on the walls. You know for a fact that there are traps. There are pit traps that sort of line at regular intervals all the way down that particular corridor, right? They you cannot tell if they have been triggered because you know that they reset if they have been triggered. So everything seems to be normal and everything's very quiet.
Check that first one. There might be somebody in there.
Wasn't here for that episode. So is it just like, is it a pressure plate thing? Just like step
Oh,
on it and you go through?
I forgot you weren't there. Yeah, so you can basically what you do. I think it was Mort who figured, or Titus. I can't remember. You can go all the way down the corridor without any sort of problem, and then you find the false door at the far end, not
As soon
knowing
as
it's a
you
false
manipulate
door.
that.
Yeah, when you open the door, all the traps open up.
Is David's like net thing still like up there over the pit trap there?
Did
Didn't
he
he
do a
create
net
some
thing?
sort of net? Didn't he create some sort of net like
Yeah,
hammock?
to balance on. Yeah, while they were experimenting, he made like a hammock
Oh yeah,
out
by
of
the
the
false
net.
door, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he took
Yeah.
it with him or not.
Well, why don't before we make it like all the way down and have to navigate all that stuff? What if we like just tap on the trap door of the pit and see if anybody answers and he's out.
Yeah, but they might not hear us. But also they might be dead if they fell 30 feet or something like that down to the ground.
Well, do
Right,
you
yeah,
tap?
I mean, let's tap first and then run down the hall.
Okay.
If you want.
We'll do that, John.
Okay. Yeah, you tap. You know that there's a trap that's like right beyond the normal door, right? And so you tap there, and you hear nothing.
Okay. How about we tie a rope around y'all, give him the torch, and have him just tap on each one of the sections all the way up to the end?
That's you
We
asking
do
me.
that?
That's fine with me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I'm asking Matt if that's cool.
It would be cool. Like, is the intent that once he gets to the end, where he's gonna like brace himself on the wall or something and then open them up?
Not if he doesn't hear anything.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? If no one's in there being like, help,
Yeah.
then I'd say just leave it and come back. Then, like I don't.
So you're gonna tap. You're basically gonna move through the corridor, and you're gonna tap on every place where you know there's a trap, and see if you hear anything. Right?
Maybe do a listen. Yeah. See if they
without
if
touching the
anybody
false
follows
door,
up.
obviously. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
So we'll say like you're being very careful, taking your time to listen in case like they're way down there yelling and they can barely hear them. But you can confirm that there is no sound coming out of those traps.
Okay.
You're now at 7 p.m. Oh, and at that point, Lothar's torch goes out.
All right, John, I'll light another torch off my off the butt.
Okay, mark it off.
Yep.
Okay, 7 p.m. What do you do? So now we have at least Njal and Lothar at the far end, right by the false door. I would. I can't remember now exactly if that hammock is there.
Well, why don't we say at least he left the spikes? Because if he left the spikes, then each of the guys can hang on to a spike and they can trigger the door, and then they won't fall because they're hanging on to the spikes.
Sure. Okay, that's fine with me.
I mean, because they've got rope too.
If there's a way to trigger the trapdoor from back, like if we shoot a crossbow or a sling stone or something at it. Or is it just like a catch? Is it something that has to be like dexterously manipulated?
You have to open the door. You have to attempt to open the door.
Okay.
But I think we can do that safely since he has the spikes that he attached the net to before. If you can loop a short length of rope around your waist and hang on to it also, you have a main thing and a backup thing, so you should be safe. And so then you can do that with one hand and then,
okay,
with
let's
the
do
other.
that. So Lothar will hold the rope for him,
Mhm.
keep him from dropping. I'll brace myself against like the wall or, whatever else is around. And then have him just try and trigger that trap while holding onto the wall and see if there's like a fresh body down there or something.
Okay, yeah. So you're kind of in this weird position where you've got both legs like braced against the wall, and you're hanging on to like the spikes that Upior had put up there before.
Little John Con Van Damme. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a little Van Damme.
Like Darius.
Like Darius, exactly.
Yeah.
And you and one of the other of you opens the door, and the pits all open up. There's 4 of them, equidistant. One is directly below you. Indeed, you do see that there is 2 corpses, and they are fresh, and they are down there, and they are unmoving, like dead. Like you don't have to like investigate to know they are dead. Wulfheard and Elizabeth back at the other end of the hallway, right? That's what you're still back at the other end, right?
Yeah.
That pit trap opens right there as well. And when you peer over, you see that there's an additional single corpse down there as well. All of you can determine in both of those traps that the 3 combined corpses are all beastmen.
Oh, so they were looking for us.
No, or they're feeling frisky and they're starting to try and look outside their territory. Right?
Maybe. Although that's not usually their thing. Interesting. Do we want to try to fish them out? Or do we just want to leave them?
I say just leave them, dude. I mean, why waste the time? We got a mission here. Let's get our treasure out of here.
Okay.
They don't seem to have anything valuable on them, but they're definitely dead.
Do any of them look familiar, John? Like beastmen that we've met before?
No.
Okay.
Not that it's tough to say.
They all look the same.
Actually, they don't. I mean, we got sheep-headed guys. We got rat-headed
Well,
guys.
for one thing, it's kind of dark.
Yeah.
And they're kind of in weird shapes. You know what I mean? Some of them are face down.
Accordion.
Yeah. There was that one point where just recently you went down to that southern entrance and kind of met surprisingly beastmen who kind of shooed you away. So that was like a very brief interaction. So you don't know if that's those guys, you know.
Yeah.
That sort of, yeah.
Right. Well, yeah, let's
So
back
the question
out.
is, John, the question is, Matt, did they come from that southern doorway or did they come from the barricade room?
It would make so much more sense if they came from that southern doorway, because they knew people came down from that way. They might just check, just send out an exploratory party to see what they can find. Maybe looking for mushrooms for mama.
There's beastmen in the cephalopod room too. Okay, so we retrieve Lothar and Niall and get back out of that room.
Okay, I'm going to say just being careful about it to avoid the traps. The traps also reset after. Actually, made me look because that might actually be some time. You may have to wait. Hold on. Where are you? Oh, they close really quick, actually. So only after like a few seconds they close.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So,
just because we're paranoid, man, we're going to make sure that Niall and I are not on the same 10-foot section at any given time as we make our way back.
Sure. Okay.
And then I think we take the spike out of the door and let the whole trap reset.
I see, like the stone door at the southern end.
Yeah, so it'll close.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you can add a spike to your inventory if you like.
Nice.
A turn goes by.
All right, and we should erase let's erase the question mark.
Well, let's open that door first and see. That's what I want to do. So yeah, he's going to try the same thing that worked on the last door that way, which was a push.
Does not work.
Checking around the seams, does there seem to be any kind of catch like there was with the revolving door?
No, indeed, actually.
Okay.
Where did you push?
Let's see. Where would he push? Well, he'd try. I mean, seeing that doors have opened in a few different ways, he'd try to push in different parts of that door. So he'd try the center, push one side, push the other side, push the top, push the bottom.
Okay. So when you push the center, like right around where the question mark is itself.
Yeah.
Who's doing this? Wulfheard?
Yeah.
Okay. So Wulfheard, you jerk back. Like the very first place that you attempt to sort of push, you're like, oh, what the fuck is that? Because underneath the question mark, the charcoal written question mark, a blue arcane symbol glows suddenly, like right where your hand was. And so you're like anathema, you know.
Yeah. Back off. No.
And then it immediately disappears again.
Okay. Hey, you know what, Mike?
Let's wait for the wizard.
You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like a little dispel magic. Little chance to do a little dispel magic action from our friend Lisbeth.
Or we could have the wizard take a look at it and make sure that it's not something that you're going to dispel we're going to be sad about later on. I mean, chances are it's going to blow people up, right? But what if it's not? What if it's weird that it didn't get triggered when you touched it, right?
Exactly, Mike. like explosive runes, it's like, or a glyph of
Like
warding. The moment you
I'd be
touch
worried
it,
about
you're fried. Yeah.
Yeah, it would have gone off already. So what is it actually doing then, Matt? It might be a glyph of like something else
Money?
entirely.
Glyph of free money.
That'd be amazing. I would take that.
In the best case scenario.
I
Okay,
think
so
we got to come back here with Upior.
so you don't think it's like a defensive thing that we want to defend? Okay.
I don't know,
All right.
man. All I'm saying is dispelling stuff that you don't understand what it is could have some sort of implication that would suck later on.
Okay. All right. Fine.
She's got a 4th level spell just burning a hole in her pocket.
Oh,
I know it's just sitting right there, man. It's just sitting right there. But yeah, we can come back. I mean, we got to come back and get the rest of that treasure at some point anyway. Stuff we can't carry. Let's go get what we can. I mean, Wulfheard is not going to retire on a magic sword or whatever the hell he's carrying. So he wants to get wants to get this giant monkey off his back. Literally, and he points to the golden monkey.
You're going to leave that mystery for the nonce, and you're going to return to your original mission, which is to go all the way back to Jacobus's tomb. Correct?
Yeah, Mike talked me out of it.
So we have 5 minutes left for the session. So I will give you the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say that you are able to return. You're going through a lot of interesting rooms and all that sort of stuff as you're kind of going all the way back there again. This is actually the 3rd time that you've been through here. But you make your way back. I'm going to call it roughly, I'm just kind of gauging the map here. I'm going to call it 4 turns to get all the way back to Jacobus. Does that sound okay to you? Doesn't really matter if it sounds okay or not. It's what's going to
be. Like 550 then? 550?
About 550. That's exactly right. Yeah. Or 750. We're at 750 now.
Right.
So you make your way all the way through the chapter house and through the fake chair and all that sort of stuff, through the secret doors and into the sarcophagus, scattered sarcophagi and all that kind of stuff, into his secret actual chamber, and you're all the way on the other side of the chasm. So we fast forward in time, and you are presented with that treasure. It does not appear that anybody has been here since, and it is as it is. So let's take the last 5 minutes to sort of lock down slots and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay, so Ted would be proud, John. I know he's off doing whatever he does, but I studied the treasure that we had, and everything that's not in that chest, we can take. It would take a total of 50 slots, assuming that the jewelry that we found in that is not encumbering, which jewelry
that is correct.
Isn't usually.
Right.
So there were 6 bolts of silk that took 12 slots. There were 16 silver bars that took 16 slots.
Correct.
The jewelry, there were 12 vials. There's 4 big gold discs, a book,
very
and
important.
the scrolls that fit into a scroll case. If you total those all up, it totals to 50 slots.
What about the statuette, the baboon statuette?
The statuette is already figured into this because Wulfheard already has it.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot you took it. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's literally got the monkey on his back. So So with the large sacks that we have on hand, which were, I believe, 2. We had 2 large sacks available, 1 small sack available. It all balanced out. So there were 50 slots available with the 2 large sacks and the small sack. We can fill those up. We just have to be comfortable with 2 people's hands being completely, taken up by these large sacks, and one person's one hand being taken up with the small sack. One of those people would need to be Niall because he has he's stronger, so he has 1 extra slot than the rest of us do.
Mm-hmm.
But if we do it that way, we can get everything that's not that chest out of that treasure room.
Okay, cool. And for the listeners in the audience out there, I've sort of watching Matt deduce this on our Discord in the weeks in between, so I know that this has been legit. So that's great. So the key thing we're taking out of this is that the treasure that is being left is that giant chest that has all the money.
Right. So come back for that, man. We
do. We just don't have. We don't have the manpower.
You just don't have it. Yeah. Just remember that is you don't know how much is in it, but just based upon the weight, it's a substantial amount. So you're looking at a substantial amount of wealth and a substantial amount of XP that
Right.
by force is basically having to be left here temporarily. But that's great. Okay, cool. So you got like all that stuff. Don't forget too that for all the potions and like you've never seen like a wealth of potions like this ever, like collected like this. That little sippy sip kind of gives you a hint. Okay, and what is the plan? Is it debouche?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah, I think the plan is to repeat what we've done before to avoid the encephalopods, which is to, and maybe now we even have like some ghoul bits that we can throw as bait along with the torch. So we use the light and some meat, right, to distract them,
okay,
and then we run around the edge to the room.
okay, cool. So I'll buy that.
Yeah.
So let's just so we start from a clean place next session. I'll buy that as a distraction. I need you to throw away a torch out of your inventory. Someone.
John, I'm going to use my light spell.
I just like an object and just toss it in a corner.
I'll
sort of
just
thing.
cast it on a copper piece or something and throw it in the corner of the room.
Okay.
And then that way we save a torch, and we're going to be resting after this anyway, because we are only a few hours away from being like exhausted, right?
Yeah, you're very close. Well, you're getting there. Are you going to move at like the triple speed because you're going through areas that you've known?
We're definitely going to be doing that through the cephalopod room. But I think we should still be cautious on the way back.
Yeah, just in case there are
okay, so we'll take the normal route. So I'm going to rough it here. It took 4 turns to get from generally the cephalopod room and then back to the debouche. Regardless, let's just call it another even 4 for a total of 8, which means that you will have to erase another torch just to light your way all the way back. Do you know what I mean? So
That's fine.
So someone mark off another torch.
I'll mark it off. I'm down to 1, Matt, so we're going to have to restock.
Yeah. Wulfheard had the lantern, so we should
save the lantern, dude. Save the lantern.
We'll just do the torch then. We're cool.
Okay, so that's going to put you at 8:10 p.m. when you saunter back into the debouchement, loaded for bear with tons of treasure and interesting sights to proclaim to the AV Club.
Yes.
And that puts us right at session end, which is great. So we'll pick it up there with your debriefing of the AV Club. We'll catch up with what's going on with downtime activities there. One last question I just have for you guys, so I know where we're going to start. You have the ability, the teleport circle is right there. Do you want to teleport to Goblin Halls to rest, or would you like to remain here?
I kind of want to remain here only because I'm hoping that the next session will either be going to get that stone chest, which I still think we should do, or to go explore those western passageways, or to go talk to the beastmen, depending on who shows up for the next session.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, I mean, we got some relatively safe rooms here. That room that Mort's having made into his office. Av also has the bar that's under construction. So yeah, there's safe places to sleep here. We can.
Yeah, it's a safe haven. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I just went more geographically where you wanted to start next session. Okay, and then are you going to dump the loot that's not useful to you right now into the stash in the pyramid?
Yes.
Yeah,
if we can do that, I don't know if we have time tonight, but I'd like to do the sippy sips on some of the potions and just try and figure out what they might be.
Yeah, why don't we mark that as like the first thing that you're going to do when we start the session? Is the plan also to just sort of like stop time tracking and call it like you're definitely going to sleep here right now?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll just stop time tracking. But we ended at 8:10, but we'll assume that you're going to rest, and whoever can level will level, which I believe is Wulfheard, right?
Wulfheard will level.
Yeah, sweet. We'll start that with the new thing. Upior will also level when we start. So lots of cool stuff to start with. So awesome session, guys. That was sweet.
We didn't get nearly as much done as I thought we would.
Well, you explored a lot of cool things. I found out a lot of interesting things.
And those visions,
Well, you did two out of your 3. So you connected the map, which was really, really great. So you got a nice solid section right there, and you collected your treasure. And in addition, you found out like a bunch of new information that you weren't even really looking for. So
yeah, I know.
So good shit.
David's gonna be so jealous that we found like a hint of the regalia. He's gonna be
very proud that you sat in the seat, though.
Touch my ass for power. Okay.
All right. That'll do it for the night. So don't forget, everyone, you've been watching 3D6 Down the Line, the most underwatched actual play series on the internet. Don't forget to please like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications to get notifications every time we post new videos. Don't forget also that you can join our Patreon, where you get lots of cool bennies, and you'll get access to our private Discord channels within our publicly available Discord server, which is always active with lots of great people, always discussing cool and interesting things. And we always give our thanks to our continued support from all of our patrons of both from the Explorer, Delver, and Conqueror tier, and especially the Conquerors. So over to Mike with who those great people are.
And before I do the Conquerors, I'm just going to remind everybody that John forgot to tell you that we got nominated for a Crit Award.
We did indeed, yes.
And everyone who's listening should go on there and vote for us.
Yep, Best Legacy YouTube channel. Find it, vote for us. Doesn't matter if you're watching this years in the future.
Go back and vote.
But if you're in June of 2024, go vote.
Yeah. All right, cool. We have some new Conquerors this week. It's pretty exciting stuff. So we have Dave Rosser Jr., Andrew. This one's a little bit of a stumper. Hannes Berndhammer.
Bimkammerer, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I apologize.
But thanks,
Please
Hannes.
Please correct me. Dakota Nielsen, Horace Foz, Grumpy Grognard, Cam, Stephen Q, Brad and Aiden, the Logan family, Gabrowskis, Declan Kanoski, Chad Cartier, Magic Meat Machine, Tom Leary, Phil, G Tokyo Time, Terry Barney, Eric Lawson, Mando NZ, Faisal, James Doig, Robert Valdez, Grunt, Andrew Schroker, MM, Michael Schilling, Stefano Di Maiolo, the Hex Brawler Twins, Summon Toast, Adam the DM, Jib Cutter, Scott Yearsley, Mech Jack, Kirk Kickmaniac, Dyer Grew, not Matt but not least, Matt Mason, Matt Gardner, Matt Koenig, and Matt Young.
The match.
Thank you guys very much.
Yes, thank you for the continued support, everybody. Have a wonderful week, and we will see you next time. Bye now. Take care.
Bye. Good night. Thanks, John.